Good afternoon, everybody. Should I say Happy New or Happy New Year? It's been ages. Trust me, I've been very very busy. I've been attending to so many inquiries. So if I don't get to see views on this live session, I will not mind because I've been away for close to I think 2 months now. But it's so good to be back. I am very happy to be here. And if you're seeing this live stream, we are going to be discussing something that is very, very fundamental. So if you have the opportunity to just join this broadcast, please do well to share. Okay, let's eat a lot of people. Let's get across. So even from this where I am now, I'm also sharing it. So I am here. So let's talk about the Ibeju Lekki proposed international airport. And the reason why we are going to be having this conversation today basically is that I'm just coming towards the Mayfair side of Ibeju Lekki, and some of the things I saw are very, very, will I say, fascinating, or should I say it is unfortunate. I believe you really want to, give me the appropriate phrases for such experience. So, in case you are coming across this live session, I'm here. This is Property Matter live session, and I'm going to be sharing some important things. You need to know as long as the international airport is concerned. So please do well to share this live video with your friends, and if you're online, I would also appreciate, okay, if you can join this broadcast as well. So this is 3 o'clock. So I'm going to be playing some music while I wait for people to join. It's a live session. I'm going to be playing some music. Let's just ease the tension, because today's topic is very, very to join me. So if you are joining this live session, I want to say a very big thank you. It's been a while. So today is Wednesday. By God's grace, I could also be having this live session on Saturday. Okay, so I'm not going to be posting any of my recorded videos on Saturday. We're going to be coming live on Saturday. Then, of course, we're going to have one of my videos posted on Friday. So we have a long list of posting that we intend to do. So I would say join us, and let's talk. Let's talk about the Ibeju Lekki International Airport. A lot of real estate companies have been going there. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I appreciate. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us. I'll also be going live also on my Instagram. So for some of, because a lot of people have been saying I'm only coming live on YouTube. Okay, so I want to balance the equation right now. So I'll be joining the Instagram session now. So I said one of the reasons why we're having this video is that I'm talking to you right now in the Lakwe axis, the Kajola axis of Ibeju Lekki. As I'm talking to you right now, there's an ongoing demolition happening now. And initially I didn't even want us to have this live session, but I just felt it's very important that we address some important issues, because I honestly don't know when else I will be having this live session apart from apart from Saturday. So it's very important that we address what needs to be addressed. So I'm going to be joining my Instagram. So there's a demolition happening now in the Kajola Onishon axis of Ibeju Lekki, and I was just coming from site inspection now. Though expect me to go deeper, so I'm going to be giving you details, okay, of what actually could be the reason for the demolition exercise. Okay, please pardon me. We are just trying to go live on Instagram. Okay, I believe I'm live. Okay, I'm live also on Instagram as well. So there's a demolition going on now in the Ibeju Lekki axis. And the reason why we're going to be having this conversation today Okay, let me increase the brightness. Sometimes Android phone can be so annoying. Okay, I think because I can't see myself from here. Please pardon me. I'm just trying to set up the Instagram community. Please pardon me. I'm live also on Instagram. So I'm live on Instagram. Okay, I think yes, I can see myself now. Good afternoon. So as I'm talking to you right now, there's an ongoing demolition in the Kajola axis, and this obviously calls for major concern because you see, many people today, okay, are in the business of real estate development. Uh, some, not many. So let me be mindful of some of the words I'm saying. Some, not everybody, have been trying to do a whole lot of stuff. So today we're going to be talking about important things you need to know if you're investing in Lagos. More importantly, in places where government infrastructure will be coming in. Okay, so I'm coming here. Come and address this. Okay, I think I'm better this way. Abraham, please adjust this light. It's reflecting on this. Let it face the curtain. Okay. What is causing this? All right, if you can see me, let me know. What is causing this? Okay. All right, good afternoon. So there's an ongoing demolition exercise right now in the Onitsha axis of Ibeju Lekki, and Lagos State Enforcement Traffic, Lagos State LASMA, Lagos State Building Management Control, LASFERA, all the Lagos State agencies are there. And one of the things I discovered basically is that many people are still not thoroughly educated about the fundamentals, things that government require from whether real estate investor or anybody that is interested in doing real estate in Lagos. And the international airport basically is a good news. It is a good news. I would say it's a perfect way to bring massive development. But you see, this same international airport project may as well become a nightmare for investors who will not understand the basic fundamentals, the things or the laid down investment guideline that government have stated for people. And the first thing you need to understand basically is that in as much as facts that penalized, if they don't follow some basic government regulations. I've always been telling real estate investors, more importantly, those who care to listen to important this countless time, that it is very important for them to understand in the area of and guideline for investment. The international airports will bring government attention, okay? Not just only government attention, it will bring government attention, it will bring stakeholders attention, and it will bring a lot of people's attention to that region. Now, the advantage of this attention basically is that the attention will put that same place, will put a lot of people in the limelight, and a lot of people will suffer grossly for it. Now, the information I have basically at my disposal, right, from one of our sources, as are beginning to say that government are beginning to take lands, undocumented lands in the Ibeju Lekki axis. Now, there was a particular search we did for a diasporan investor who bought, not through us, but through some agencies. And one of the things I got to discover basically is that these people bought that land many years ago, and as at the time they were checking and trying to start the process of documentation, as at now it is already too late. Tell a control model. it is already getting too late, and the situation right now would, I would say, is rather unfortunate. Now the attention that the international airport will bring will be good news to some people, and it will become a nightmare for people who will go against government regulation in that axis. In as much as fact that it's going to bring the place to limelight, it's going to bring investors, it's going to bring a lot of people to that area, it's going to increase the value of real estate in that axis. I can as well tell you that a lot of people will lose properties because of the airport. And I'm going to explain some of the things investors should expect as these projects are started. I'm not a prophet of doom, okay? I'm not a prophet of doom, but we've been in Lagos for quite some time, and we can tell you some of the things that have been happening. The first thing that will happen is that undocumented lands in Ibeju Lekki will be forcefully taken by government. Undocumented properties, regardless of whether it is one plot, whether it is two plots, whether it is 5 plots, whether it is 7 plots, you can be rest assured that in as much as fact that your property is not well documented, okay, whether it is freehold, whether it is registered survey, the fascinating thing basically about Lagos state government is that their prayer most times is that people should violate Lagos state regulatory laws and every other thing. It's always in their prayer that Lagosians, so you give them a legitimate basis. So undocumented lands, okay, will go. I can assure you. Now, there was a particular interview I saw, okay, where someone was playing the video of the governor of Lagos State when he was advising people that make sure you go and get your papers on the land. I think this was like 3 years ago, and this was even before the project of the international airport have started, okay. And someone sent me the video, and I responded by saying, this is what you must do. This is what exactly you have to do in order for you to safeguard your property. So the first thing you need to know is that undocumented lands will go. Now, now somebody asked me a question, but I have a land that has excision. I have a land that is gazetted. What is my faith, or what should I expect from such properties? Now, if you have a land that is excised, I've always said it before, okay, that if you are buying a property in Lagos, whether it's excision, whether it is gazette, whether it is consent, regardless of any of these titles, it is very important as a real estate investor, you pay for a registered survey. I've said it before. You pay for a registered survey, ensure that that survey is lodged. A lot of people make errors when it comes to property documentation, and that is why sometimes I've always advised real estate investors that if you are doing real estate in Lagos, it is very important that you allow somebody with vast experience to handle your transaction. This is, there are some things you will do, okay, because I've said it several times that you obviously cannot satisfy everybody, and as long as Lagos State is concerned, professionalism is very core. Because you see, the safety of your investment is dependent on who is advising you on that investment. The longevity of that investment is dependent on the quality of counsel that your real estate advisor is giving you. So you have an excision, a land that's excised, you have a gazette. Common sense, or permit me to say this, the law states in Lagos states that your investment, and this thing is very crucial, and a lot of people don't pay attention to it. Now, what you must now do basically is that, I've always said it before, that when you are buying real estate, the needful, okay, the lesser you pay. Now, there was a particular time in this our same Ibeju Lekki that if you have 1.5 million, you can get a C of O on your property. That was around 2018, 2019. Because you see, as at that time, okay, government attention is not yet there. So there is no tendency that the fees or the prices will go high. Now, the moment government intention switch to that particular location, something you are supposed to do for 1.5 or 2 million, you are doing it for higher price. So it is always advisable that you do the needful before government attention is shifted. So if you don't do your proper, even if you don't have the funds, start. At least let it show that in records you have lodged your survey. That one alone can go a long way, okay, to safeguard and do a lot of things. Then the next thing you also need to know, as regarding this Ibeju Lekki International Airport, is that a lot of real estate development companies will lose possessions of their land. And I'm going to explain the reason for this. A lot of real estate companies. Now, as we're driving, there was this particular, let me even start by saying this. For some of us who are familiar with the Ibeju Lekki axis, okay, I sell property also on the mainland too. I do mainland listings. Of course, I schooled in the mainland, that Unilag axis, so I've seen a lot of things there. So a lot of people are saying, I wanted to buy real estate on the mainland, but because you're always talking about Ibeju Lekki, I think you are based I'm based everywhere. My dear investors, if it is Magudo, I'm there. If it is Omole, I'm there. If it is Yaba, I'm there. If it is Ule, I'm there. If it is Ikeja, mention any place on the mainland, I'm there. But the difference between my own service and every other real estate service basically is that I'm vast. There is nothing, there are some things that there are some information that I will share with you that you find it valuable if you choose to work with me. But that is not my main focus. Now, a lot of real estate development companies will lose their properties, and I will tell you why. It is very unfortunate, okay, very, very sad that many people still find it difficult to do the right thing. Now, a lot of real estate developers have invited me to come and help them promote their property, tell investors about their properties on the Ibeju Lekki International Airport. Not once, not even before the airport project started. A lot of them have, sent me. I've gone for several inspections. At least, let me see how this is, and I find it extremely difficult. I find it unimaginable that you are selling something that is above 30 million. You can't even do a governor's consent on the property you are advising investors to buy. One thing you don't understand about government is that governments are fully aware that people find it extremely difficult to do the right thing. And what they will now do is that they will look for loopholes that they can capitalize on and take that thing from you. Now, the smartest thing every real estate developer needs to understand is that most of these people need to understand the policies and what government might want to use as a loophole to take their properties from them. I can tell you categorically that a lot of people are selling, and what they can just use, okay, to show that this property belongs to them is just the title that is on the previous owner, which they bought from. A lot of them cannot even register a deed that they use in buying properties that is being used to transfer the ownership of that property. What I'm saying is true. I'm not castigating any developer. If I don't know, I won't say it. If I've not experienced it, a lot of people find it. How much will it take you to register a deed? It's not even up to 3 million to register a deed, and you're selling acres and you don't have a registered deed to show that this property belongs to them. So that one alone is an advantage for government to do what? Is a loophole that Lagos State government can capitalize. So you need to understand that if you're buying, you need to be careful. That's what I would say. So because of the fact that there are some loopholes, government will exploit those loopholes, and a lot of people will. In fact, before the international airport started, there are some estates that were presently occupied, that was, okay, let's presently, apologies for that, that was previously occupied by some real estate development companies, today is another company that is controlling the estate for now. I know a particular estate that developer that have mounted their signboard that have said they are their owner on that estate in Ibeju Lekki is more than 6. So in this kind of situation, whoever you are buying real estate from in that Ibeju Lekki International Airport, is very important. So I used to see why a lot of people are always coming online. This thing has happened. You know, the annoying thing or the unbelievable thing basically is that these situations are things that are avoidable. But if you don't get the proper counsel, if you don't get a professional advice, if you don't get legal, counsel when you are purchasing properties, you find yourself in an unfortunate situations that can be easily avoided. So I'm saying it now that some people are selling properties in those axes. They don't have a registered deed with government. And that alone can be a loophole that can make that property be transferred to somebody else. So I know they've told you that as long as there's a C of O on that property, the question you should ask is that whose name is on that C of O? If the developer's name is not on that C of O, does the developer has a registered deed of assignment to show that they've transferred that C of O to them? And these are important questions that real estate investors don't ask. So on that premise, I can tell you a lot of real estate developers will lose. In fact, it's not even lots. I know places that is being advertised on YouTube, on every other social media that were previously owned by some real estate development companies. Now the question is, what happened to those previous owners before these present owners? So these are questions you need to ask. Don't just say, and that goes to my next point. Now, one important thing, if you buy because of price, you may pay the ultimate price. That's the third thing you need to understand. Because you see, the attention that is on that international airport alone, I can assure you that the Chinese are presently negotiating with Lagos State government to have their own estates there. Other expatriates are coming. I did a video in one of my subsequent videos where I was talking about why the Chinese are investing in Nigeria. If you have not seen that video, I will drop the link on the comment section. You can look at it. So the thing is that it is very important you look at this. So don't buy because of price. I've seen instances where somebody will be selling 25 million and somebody is selling 10 million. And real estate investors will say, that 10 million, see, it is better for you to own a 300 square meter of land with a company that has a reputation than to own acres with an unknown developers. I'm going to say it again. It is better for you as an investor to own a 300 square meter of land with a known developer than to own 1 acre with an unproven developers. Because you see, it has been proven beyond every necessary doubt that as challenges and trouble begins to escalate, there are some developer that does not have the chest to face it. And some of them may fizzle out in the midst of crisis. So this will now lead to my next point. You see, the brand you are buying from is more important than the land you are buying. So I'm going to say it again. The brand, the person that is selling land for you in that axis is way, way more important than the land you are buying. Because you see, what will determine the sustainability of your investment is dependent on who is selling to you. It's very important. And a lot of people don't pay adequate attention to this. And it's quite unfortunate because I have actually spoken with some real estate investors, and I'm going to say it on this live session without any fear of contradiction. Well, I'm open, okay, to criticism. I'm open to correction. If there are some things that I've said, okay, that you obviously don't agree to, you are free to drop your comments on the comment section. You can drop your opinions. Let us interact. Now, the person you have bought from. Now, I've had instances of clients coming to me saying, there are some things you have been explaining recently. If I had known all these things earlier, I would have done things differently. And I really feel their opinion. I feel their pain, because I know it's not that easy to say for you to work so hard, and some people will definitely want to take advantage of your investment. It's very annoying, and very, very annoying. So let me say it again. You might buy in other places, so sure you get, if it is Ibadan, of course you can buy from any developer, but just check if it is other places. But you see, as Azari Airport is concerned, I beg you in God's name. See, I'm showing my hand like this, and I'm begging you. The brand you are buying from, because you see, I can tell you, Lagos State government will make provisions for their own personal residence. Yes. So if you think you are the only one that are buying properties in the Ibeju Lekki Airport and you want to do Airbnb and you don't want government property to be there, is a lie. Lagos State government will reserve good acres for themselves for their own housing projects. Lagos State government will also reserve acres for expatriates, the Chinese, the Indians. They will reserve, because these guys have the funds to buy from government. So there are some reserved locations, okay, that government would have kept for further or future allocations. Now, I think the government should do more on this. But the annoying thing basically is that some people will encroach on those places that has been reserved by government, and they will still sell to investors. There was a time I was having an interaction with the diaspora, and we were talking over the phone, and the man said, Adejare, like, shey people know they fear any. I said, with what everybody is experiencing in Nigeria, fear is automatically driven out. Fear is no longer in the equation. So investors, if you are watching this live video, don't buy because of price. I'm saying this. Don't buy because now let me strike a balance to this particular point that I've just raised. I am not saying that you should break the bank to before you invest. I'm not saying you should shoot above your budget. I'm not saying you should do or you should swallow more than you can chew. Okay? I'm not saying you should do this. What I'm trying to say is that there are some places where you will have, there are some real estate development companies that you have 300 square meter with, and 5 years from today, 6 years from today, 10 years from today, your investment is safe. Meanwhile, there are some other companies that you might have acres with, and something can just happen and they will tell you they are no longer in the system. So when it comes to investing in Lagos, when I was talking about I made a video, I'll be posting that video maybe some other time. I talked about why we choose some specific real estate development company to work with. I talked about the kind of things you should from a developer before you choose to invest with them. And one of the things that I talk about basically is the structure of the company. Now, there are some companies, okay, that are presently in operations that may not exceed 2 years before they will start having problems. Meanwhile, there are some companies that have been in this industry, okay, that have been in existence even far back as 1990s, 2000, and now, what is now the difference between that company and those who are off the scene? Is the what? The administrative sector, or the administration setup of the company. There are some real estate companies that the MD is not the authoritarian ruler, is not a dictator. Any decision the MD is taking, there is a board, there is a management team. So the structure of that company has been done in such a way that even in the absence of the MD or the CEO, the company is still functioning. And that's why you notice that maybe there's a demise of the owner, you still find out that the company is still functioning, they are still attending to calls. And meanwhile, there are some companies that you pray that nothing happens to the MD, because if anything happens to the MD, everybody's investment in that company may be at a jeopardy. So it is very important that if you are buying, you see, it is very important for real estate investors to understand that you need to prioritize and look into the structure of that company. Is there a board? Who are the shareholders there? What are the subsidiaries of those companies? What is their staff strength? What is their revenue base? What are their successful projects? A lot of real estate investors don't look at that before they buy properties. Now, there will now be issues, or maybe the MD is off the scene, and people's investments, or people start having nightmare or hypertension, thinking that anything may happen. But all these things can be avoided if you choose to work with a better real estate developer. So it is very important, okay, that you work with it. Now, I'm not saying you should not work with new companies. I'm not saying that, because if I'm making assertions, I don't want the situations whereby I will be misquoted. Now, let me balance this argument. Now, there are some new companies that are working in this direction of creating a system that will function even in their absence. But it's taking a gradual process before this can be thoroughly actualized. On the other hand, there are some companies that have been in the system that you can know whether the MD is around, the MD is not around, the operation still continues, allocation still continues, proper documentation still continues, infrastructural development still continues. So if you are buying the international airport, if you are buying land in that international airport, my brothers and sisters, look for such, regardless of what they are selling. See, I don't want a situation where it will be like a case of penny wise, pounds foolish. And I will explain that. Before the news of the international airports blew, before that awareness went viral, before people start investing in mass as they were doing presently, I know some estates that were previously owned by some real estate developers, and today those estates are gone. They are gone. Not one, not two, not three, not four, not five. In fact, I've seen instances whereby government is reselling, and these guys will still parade that same C of O, that same allocation. And the question basically you now begin to wonder is that what exactly is going on? And this is why you need to understand the dynamics. See, I have made up my mind, we run a policy in our own organization whereby we only advise those who want to be advised. Because I've had, this is Nigeria. In Nigeria, I've seen so many absurd circumstances. Things that you will say, and you will say that, now wow. But because of the fact that we understand some of the, see, I've seen instances whereby a client has reached out to me and she said, I want to buy this particular product, this particular estate, and I want you to be in charge. Okay? And a lot of people were excited. This is good, this is good. Now, because of the fact that you see that exact location where that property was, and the developer that was mining or in charge of that property, I had doubts about that developer. And I told the woman politely, I said, see, I love the fact that you have given me this honor to manage this investment on your behalf. It's an honor. I appreciate it. Thank you very much, ma. And I told the woman, because of the fact that I have an integrity and a rep. See, what people don't understand is that if I want to be richer than I am right now, I can be so rich to the point that many people that call me, when you just come, it's my PA that will pick the call. But the reason why I've decided is that there are some investments today that I would have introduced to people that would have put me in trouble. But because of the fact that the grace of God is upon me and I have that discerning spirit, I can tell you what will happen. That has prevented me from making or recommending some developer. And these are the same principles I put in any of my real estate recommendation. Now, the last time I heard from this woman was when I told her I am not interested, and I didn't even call the woman from there. 3 months later, the woman called and said she later bought the property, and there's this realtor that she bought it through, but the realtor has stopped showing her update about that property, and she's sensing that something is wrong. That can I go and check and see what exactly happened? And of course, when it comes to checking, there's a fee attached to it, because fuel now is now 1,000 per liter. So we don't check for free again. Now, when I went to that place, the things I saw, I could not tell the woman. Things I saw. Because there are sometimes that diplomacy is very important too. So I now told the woman that she should ask somebody else to call the realtor, okay? That they should call the realtor, and let's also find a way. Now, the woman called the realtor, and the woman told the realtor told the investor that everything was fine. And the woman called me back and said, Adejare, what did you see? And I said, okay, fine. Let's do it this way. I'm going to pretend like I'm an investor, because we do that for a lot of stuff. In fact, there are some realtors that we have used tricks to catch. Realtors that have sold property, their issues, and they have run away. So I was able to get the realtor, and for you to know how callous this particular realtor is, he took me to that property, and when we got there, there was some circumstances there which I'm not be privileged to see online. And I told the realtor, I asked him some questions. Do you know this and this and this and this? And the realtor said, are you sure you are an investor, or you are a real estate professional? I said, I'm also a realtor. And the guy he could not say anything again. I asked him a question. I said, what will you gain from lying to people just because of your personal gain? So there are a lot of people who are in this industry who have made billions doing the wrong thing. But for me, a good name, they say, is better than silver, gold, or dynamite. Because you see, this name is what my children and other generations, at least they know that they have a father, somebody they can look up to, who stood for the truth. And that is what I offer. So for me, I've had opportunity to make millions of naira, become one of the biggest real estate developer, but my conscience won't allow me to do that. And that is sometimes when people call me, I tell them, well, this is what I feel. I stand to be corrected. I may be wrong. You can go ahead and check this thing by yourself. That's the point. And it has gotten to a point, basically, that a lot of people have been talking to me and they've been asking questions. So these are the fundamental things you need to understand as far as investment is concerned. So if you are buying, prioritize a development company that has a structure that will outlive whosoever established the company. Because some circumstances and unfortunate circumstances would have been averted if real estate investors or diaspora investor knew what some of these things I'm explaining. So these are the fundamental things, okay, that I need real estate investor. For people that's joining us, thank you for joining us. So we're also going to be having this live session by God's grace on Saturday. If there's a Premier League match on Saturday, because I found out that whenever I host live session on Saturdays and maybe Arsenal is playing, because I'll check the schedule. So if there's going to be, I'm going to post it on this YouTube channel, on our social media, so that you guys will know if but we're going to be having a live session either Friday or Saturday, but I'll communicate that tomorrow by God's grace. So these are some. So at this juncture, I'm going to take questions. If you have been following my live session, I've been talking for the past 41 minutes, and I think it's appropriate that we make this thing interactive as much as we can. So I'm just going to take a chill pill. I don't know if that word is allowed here. So I'm going to take questions from viewers, from interaction. The number is +234. For some of you who are familiar, if you are texting me from the diaspora, maybe abroad, just add +234 to the number. Okay, you'll be able to get me. +234 802 +234 802. Okay, 132 +234 802 132 7360. So you can send me a message directly on WhatsApp. Okay, that's my WhatsApp number. So I'm going to take the number again, because I don't want this live session to be unnecessarily long, because I don't want it to exceed 60 minutes. So we are presently in 42 minutes. So I'm just going to dedicate the final part of the live session, okay, so for questions and answer. So I'm going to take the number again. If you are chatting from the diaspora, maybe you're in the UK, you're in Canada, you're in Germany, any part across the world, just add +234. That's our code, 802 132 7360 +234 802 132 7360. That's the number. So if you want to send me a message on WhatsApp, I have my phones here, so I'll respond to that. If you have inquiries, you can send me a message directly on my WhatsApp. Then of course you can also drop your concerns and also on this particular social media. You can drop your question also on your comment section. You can be rest assured that I'm going to respond to it. So I have some questions that I have actually written down, some questions that were sent to me in the previous section. So I'm going to be responding to that while I wait other questions to come as well. So please bear in mind that I don't intend to stay long in this live session. Once it's 60 minutes, that's an hour, I'll call it a day. Then we'll meet either on Friday or on Saturday, because I will communicate the information before now. So these are some of the things. So if you have questions, so I have a question here, and this question says, is it a good thing to invest in the international airport? It is. There's nothing to elongate over that matter. It is. If you have investment in that airport axis, trust me, as long as investment is safe and the longevity of the investment is guaranteed, trust me, you have just won a jackpot. So there's a project now we're going to see over by next week, is at Ajao Estate. For some of us who are familiar with Ajao Estate, you know Ajao Estate is just a few minutes immediately after the Murtala Mohammed Airport, and they are selling 2-bedroom apartment for 100 million. Yes, in Ajao Estate. And the reason for that basically is it's just a few minutes, after the airport. So, and that is why a lot of people are rushing, to buy properties in the airport. And the purpose of this live session is to ensure they do it rightly. So the next question is, can you give professional advice and also help us to assist? That's why I'm here now. Why do you think I come online to share important information? The most important thing basically is to get you aware of some of the possible manipulations that could occur. Okay, and the reason why we also share these important information is for you to understand that there are still some people in this Nigeria. Okay, a lot of people have labeled majority of Nigerians as fraudster. Is a lie. There are still some of us that we have the fear of God, we have integrity, and of course we have a name to protect. So not everybody in Nigeria, and the purpose for this basically is for you to know that there are still some few individuals who knows what they are doing, and of course who can guide you on the kind of investment you should do. And let me also say this, in addition to that um infrastructure, I think that was the only point I omitted when I started this live session. And let's talk about infrastructure. If you are buying the airport's access, okay, also bear it in mind that not all companies can give you first class infrastructures. And the reason why I'm going to say this is basically I know a real estate developer that have sold land, okay, to investors, and if you check his contracts, did I say contract? If you check the subscription form that investors fill anytime they want to buy property, you will observe that when this particular real estate company started selling, they did not put a fee to infrastructure. And I will explain why that is that obviously happened. Now, the reason for that is based on the fact that, you see, these guys knew they won't be providing infrastructure that very instant that which that property was sold. And they are also fully aware that if they should fix an infrastructural fee and the prices of building materials increases, it will be very difficult for them to go back to investors and say add 1 million, add 2 million. And a lot of people say it's above, it's a breach of contract. Business is not done that way. So I've seen a lot of developers who are selling that axis, and of course there are some that have included infrastructural fee to their subscription form. So that obviously, so like I said, company policies differs. You need to pay adequate attention to that as well. Company policy differs, and that is how we have been having some of those things. So we are in the comments question and answer session. Please feel free to drop your questions. Okay, feel free to drop your questions. Let us have interaction. Let us see what is going. You can drop your questions. So I'm talking about the Lekki International Airport. So let's have an interaction. So like I said, when it comes to infrastructure, not all developers will be able to give you the expected. And of course, you also need to understand basically that development happens in phases. Okay, there's a phase of where the first development the real estate company will do is to clear the estate. Then the next development phase is to fence the estate. Then they might put gatehouse. Then later on they may partition the plots, put in internal roads or earth roads and some other things like that. But the most important thing that every real estate investors needs to understand is that development happens in phases. It doesn't just happen at once. So it happens in phases, and that is why it appears that some of the estates you have bought looks abandoned. No, they are not abandoned. And another thing basically why, because I have a question that says I bought from this developer and nothing is happening. No, it's not that nothing is happening. Let me explain. What you need to understand basically is that, you see, for many of the real estate companies that have estates in the international airport, is that many people are reluctant to put all the development because they are also waiting to understand the standard and the requirements that will be coming from government. Okay, like for instance, now let's take a case of this Lagos Calabar coastal roads. A lot of people have built their houses. Okay, a lot of people have been residing in that axis. Okay, and when they started the construction of that coastal road, you see, one lane of that coastal road was higher than some houses. So the consequences of that basically is that if any the time that government will be putting a drainage on that coastal road, okay, once it rains, water goes in. into the houses that the road is higher than, and nobody foresaw that that's the kind of road or the quality of road that government will be doing. So because of circumstances like this, most real estate development companies don't put all the infrastructures because it is better for them to see what government will be requiring from. Okay, now there was a particular time where if you, like, for instance, now if you want to build your properties now, okay, if in that international airport, like you want to build property, there are some places in that international airport whereby you can't build 3-story buildings. You can't do 2-story buildings. It's just 1 story. Sure, you understand. The reason for that is because of aircraft movement, and so that there won't be blockage of signals, and of course there won't be obstruction for plane, to move freely. So that is why most of those infrastructures, a lot of real estate company delay, okay, so that they can see what will be required on as development in those axes, continue to happen. So that is why. So most of your estates are not abandoned. It's just, I think it's common sense, okay, for people not to rush their infrastructure so that they won't have to start all over again. And if they have to start over again and they come to meet you that this is what government is saying, had more money, I know you will be the first to say you guys are thieves. So that's just basically, that's why some of these estates looks abandoned. They are not abandoned. If you want to know if they are abandoned, send somebody there to go and pose as actual owner. The kind of reaction the person will get will obviously confirm and attest to the fact that these projects are not abandoned. So these are some of the things we have observed, okay, over time. So your estate is not abandoned. The developer did not, in fact, who will buy land in that airport and run away? So I was giving this instance of Abjao. So there's this project, a 2-bedroom apartment selling for 100 million, and that 100 million is outright payment. If you want to spread it now for let's say 6 months, is 10 million interest. Then if you want to spread it for 1 year, I think they are selling for 120. That's 20 million interest. So having an investment in the airport is very important. So I would advise, if you are watching, you can afford to do 25 million, you can spread it for 1 year, 6 months. You can, you want to do, you can afford 35, 36 million, you can afford 29 million. Trust me, you should be investing in the national airport if your preference is for that place. And another thing I have done several times basically is that I give recommendations based on your investment goals and your investment portfolio, because that is equally important as well. We just can't give recommendations without having a thorough understanding of what you intend to achieve with that investment. So these are some of the things. So I think I don't have questions for today. So we are going to be here by God's grace on Friday. Okay, my media manager is telling me that Friday is good for us. By Friday we are going to be here, because if I choose to put it on Saturday, of course it will be matches. So whenever I come live on Saturday, I don't get views, because people are actually watching Man United, they're watching Liverpool, of course they're watching the reigning power now, which is Arsenal. So every Arsenal fan, now do well. You guys watch Real Madrid. I'm not deviating. Of course, I'm a lover of football too. So these are some of the things that we need to adequately address. Okay, so for some of us who are probably watching this, I want to appeal to you, please and please make this channel big by subscribing. Okay, I know a lot of us have been watching, but you see, we won't be able to reach larger audience if you don't follow us on Instagram, if you don't follow us on Facebook, and if you don't subscribe to our channel. You see, all this good work that we are doing will not reach people who needs this information if you are not working hand in hand by subscribing and by following us. So in case you are seeing this, I want to solicit for that. Please, at the end of this video, of course, please, and also you can also drop your comments and share. See, it is important that you share this broadcast and every other videos to our people, more importantly those who have been away in the country for a very long time, because you see, the reason why many people make costly investment decision is due to the fact that many people don't have the volume of informations that would have avoided that unfortunate circumstances. So this is why you have to subscribe if you're on YouTube. This is why you have to follow us if you're on Instagram, and this is why you have to share this video so that we can reach wider audience, and of course curb and reduce real estate fraud and manipulation to the barest minimum. So this is why I'm going to draw today curtain. First of all, I want to say a very big thank you to Mr. Abdul. I want to also say a very big thank you to Mr. Ismail, David Tokes. Thank you for people that also follow us on YouTube and of course on Facebook. Thank you very much. So until I come your way by God's grace on Friday to discuss another important matter, stay blessed. God bless you. Bye for now.